What I want to show you in this video is to create various different layouts and placing them on sheets, maybe for some sort of architectural design. Perhaps you're designing a house for a homeowner. I've got some example files here that I'm able to show you. So we've got 4 different houses here. So all of these houses are the same. I've actually created these as a group. I did not use design options. I've not covered that in this video. I've just duplicated them. But just to be aware, there is something called design options which can perform similar, but it doesn't cover in this video. So essentially what I've done, I've created a group of the existing house. So this is just the existing semi-detached home here. And what we've done is proposed an extension onto the back, and each of these extensions varies in a slightly different way. They're all more or less the same outside, but internally the layouts are different. So what we've actually done with these is place them onto sheets that can be sent by the architect or designer to the client. So we've got floor plans. So we've placed the first 3 options on a floor plan. We've got 3 different options. You see the doors in different place here. The kitchen is here. Then the door has been moved here in the second option, kind of moving into the room. And in the third option, it's a bit more of a bespoke design with maybe some sort of bespoke joinery designed around a dining table, an island, and a kitchen. So that's essentially your floor plans. I've created kind of graphical elements on these, such as creating shadows and turning on sketchy lines, as you'll see on these. So just a bit more presentable if that's how you want your drawing to look when you're sending it to the client. And what you might find is a client can actually interpret these type of drawings a lot easier. For example, if there are shadows, it kind of gives a depth to it. As well as that, as well as those 3 designs, we've also cut floor plans using the section box within these. And simply how we do these is within a 3D view, just turn on your section box on the left hand side here. So I'm just going to turn it off for now, place these on a sheet so we can see that our section box is turned on. The drawing doesn't look very clean there. So what we've actually done is just turned on section box. We have all our floor plans duplicated across there. So what I'm actually going to do is just make sure that it's hidden. So what I'm doing is just pulling down the section box and cutting through the floor plan. You can decide how deep you want it to be. And I actually only wanted 3 floor plans to be shown in this particular one because we have a separate sheet created for the 4 floor plan. So turn that off. So what I'm creating here, when you see the light bulb at the bottom, that's actually hiding elements. So I've hidden the section box. So for example, if I was to leave the section box turned on, it means that you would see the section box. So if I unhide element, let's cancel that, unhide element, you will always see this section box, which we don't want to see. So what I do is I just select it and type EH. So it still functions, but it just hides itself in the background. So again, I've labeled these options just so maybe a client is able to understand which option they're looking at. These are 3 different layouts for the same design. I've used phasing. You can see in this first one, it shows the existing building is actually quite grayed out, and anything new, I suppose, is more defined by its color as well. And we've actually used different types of view settings on that, and we've set it as a view template using 3D Sketch. So we've just created this view template ourselves, and that applies across the project. That just brings consistency across your project, I suppose. So obviously these floor plans and these 3D floor plans are the exact same. So if I delete something here, it is going to delete in the background as well. So if I just get those 2 side by side. So if I go into my first floor plan here, and I'm just going to select my dining table, one of my chairs, and if I zoom out on the right hand side, you can see that chair has actually highlighted in blue. So if I delete that, it's going to delete off both as well, and even the drawing and the 3D model update. So I'm just going to undo that, make sure that goes back in. So that's the floor plan. So I'm going to go back into this 3D view. So that's a cut section through a 3D view, and what we've actually done here is we've used multi-category tags. So these tags are intelligent tags. So as soon as I place a note on something, so for example, if I choose this, what is going to be the breakfast bar. So if I just go to comments, I'm going to put this in as breakfast bar. That's what I'm going to call it. So that's just so the client knows what it is. So I've put in that information. It's attached to, this is just a model in place element. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into annotate. I'm going to go to multi-category. I'm just going to hover over that, and you can see it actually pulls up that text that I just inputted. The same if I was to hover over any other element, but these elements are just showing question marks, so therefore the properties haven't been filled out, that's all. But if I was to fill them out, they would, for example. So I could also select the dining table, and I'm just going to call it dining, so it kind of defines the area to the client as well, so that they're able to see these drawings. So I'm going to go create similar, hover over that, just going to pull out dining table, and they can see that's the dining area. Because I suppose from a designer's perspective, clients don't always interpret drawings or even 3Ds in the same way maybe that the architect or designer does. So it can be important to label up certain things that may seem obvious to a designer. I think Revit lends itself quite well to be able to make drawings and make your design a lot more, I suppose, clearer in a way to your clients, and just communicating your design in a lot easier for you, helping you sell your design ideas, I suppose. So that's the 3D floor plans. Then I've created outside views. I've turned off the section box essentially, and we can just see the outside views. And the only difference in these three is, for example, option 1 has 2 windows side by side here and a bigger picture window here. Option 2 has just a floor to ceiling window. Option 3 then has a much bigger kind of picture window at a dining room area as well. And you can also label these up as well. So I could select that window. So it's already has a comment in there. So I can go to my annotate tab, go to multi-category, hover over that particular window, and it says picture window to courtyard. So that's explaining that quite simply. And if I was to go back into my floor plan, for example, if I was to then go into my floor plan, again, double click into this floor plan, multi-category tag, hover over this same window, you can see that the same note actually comes into that. So picture window to courtyard in there as well. So just pull that in so it doesn't go over the side of the sheet, and you can pull that out of the way if you want. So there, that's pointing to that. So essentially the same notation that you've created on one sheet, if you use a multi-category tag, you can use that same notation on another sheet as well. Then with what I've actually done here is I've just rotated the floor plan, duplicated it, and just rotated it, and just cut another section box through it here as well. So again, just giving a different view and using the multi-category tags. I have placed just some photographs here that I found online. Obviously, the rights of these photos belong to the particular architect. So just to show a client maybe a reference image, you can drag that image simply onto a sheet. So the way you do that is go to your Insert tab, go to Link Image, and ideally you will have a folder with your images in here. You just select your image and bring it in onto the sheet, and you can resize it. And I've seen this used in design firms or design practices, just essentially to communicate the concept of maybe this landscaped courtyard. What we want to do with this is similar to this type of project that another architect has actually produced. So it just gives you a better sense of that. And then what I've done as well is just placed another maybe what might be the architect's more favored option. I've gone into this in a bit more detail, for example, showing what might be the fitted bench, kind of shown that as an extruded element. And the way I've actually created that, and I will show you how I created that, that is actually a 3D view. So if we go down to our sheet here, that's actually two separate views. It's a 3D view 1 and 3D view 3. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to show you how I created that. So what I'm going to do here is, perfect. I'm going to go back to my option 3. So double click on my option 3. I am actually going to delete this particular one. So I'm just going to select that. Just going to press delete on it, so that's gotten rid of that particular view. So I'm going to show you how I actually created that particular view as well. So I'm going to go back here a few steps. So let's say you start with a cut floor plan on your drawing sheet. What I then do is I duplicate that particular floor plan. So I'm duplicating this 3D floor plan. I know it's this one on the sheet. I'm going to hit duplicate on that. So it comes in here. It gives it another name, view 1, copy 3. What I'm actually going to do is go back to my sheet. Now I'm going to drag this particular element. I'm going to place this over my floor plan. So I want to just isolate essentially the drawing bench in this So what I'm actually going to do is, so all I want to do is I want to select every single element. So I'm just going to drag that across. I want to then type in EH on the keyboard. That will hide absolutely everything. Turn on your reveal hidden elements and just select exactly what you want to show. I am going to just show that particular bench, unhide elements, and turn off your reveal hidden elements. So there's also a crop box on this. So I don't want to crop that, there's no need to. So that's the bench down here. It's just to explain it, I suppose, in a bit more of a detailed sense. And then I go into my annotate tab, just get some 2D lines, hidden lines, and I'm actually going to put them into, set them to hidden lines. And all I do then is just to show it as, I suppose, a separate element. Just drag up one of these lines corner, and it just I suppose explains it in a bit more of a diagrammatic way. So just pull up those lines. So that's that's a line. I'm going to change that to hidden. Yeah, that's a black line. And all I'm going to do then is just copy these to maybe to each corner. Make sure they're nice and tidy on that. That one sits nicely on that one. And then what I'm going to do is actually grab this particular one down here and just place this on this particular corner. And that should sit nicely. Yeah, that tidies up nicely with the edge of that. So that just explains that to the client, I suppose, as it shows them as a separate piece of joinery or a separate design element, essentially. So what I'm going to do is, I think I have some notation on this. I do. So I'm going to go to multi-category tag. It's going to tag this again and just explains it. Fitted shelving storage bench for entertaining area in their house as well. And then on the left hand side, I've taken in some other architects' photographs that I've just found online. Again, I don't own the rights to these, just the rights are with the relevant architects, just to explain what this kind of bench means in terms of or the different options that they can have, such as plain maybe timber, unpainted or unfinished timber, and maybe a dark wood seat, and maybe a different type of fixed bench. Kind of concept, just to explain to them, and they're reading this alongside the concept kind of diagram here as well. And I made sure to put some kind of green trees, just to show that this is a courtyard, that they're actually going to be looking out onto this particular element as well. So that's option 3 that I've shown on that particular sheet. And then just to show you option 4, I've done similar, except the architect or designer quite liked option 4, so they placed it separately onto a sheet on its own, and again showing some other architects' photographs that they thought was similar in the type of style that they wanted to achieve as well. So again, using multi-category tags and just different 3D design elements on this as well. So how this actually works if you go into your modeling environment, so it's 3 separate buildings. The existing building is modeled as a group, so that's just duplicated all the way across. If the existing building changes, then these all update, and then all of the designs were just modeled separately as well. So again, I will say you can use design options to do something similar like this, but for this particular example, I just wanted to show it as a duplicated element across there as well. So that's essentially how you might create conceptual design sheets for initial design, maybe of some sort of design project, whether it's a home extension or a larger project, commercial project even, but just being able to place them onto sheets and graphically making them a bit more presentable. And then just finally, to get the consistency across all of the drawings, we have used view templates. So if I select this again, you'll see that the view template is called 3D Sketch, and 3D Sketch has a certain amount of settings against it, such as the shadows are turned on, the sketchy lines are turned on as well. They're both all set to 1 and set to 2 for extension. In terms of lighting, all the lighting is set the same as well, so 30, 60 and 10, and that's across wherever this template has been used. So if I go in here, for example, or if I go in here, these drawings also have that template applied. So it just gives you that consistency across your drawings there as well. Just to keep that in mind, that viewing templates or view templates are very useful for that type of consistency, and you can change them to suit your own style or your own practice standard as well. So that's essentially those 5 or 6 sheets that we created as part of a building design initial design options. Thank you very much.